And I think that it is important for me to document my intentions before embarking on this risky and difficult task.
Hello, I like money.
I am not Scott Pelley. I am not a hard-hitting genius investigative journalist. I'm a YouTuber with a medium-sized platform. I am currently doing journalism, to be fair.
Who are you?
I am currently doing journalism.
Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down?
The goal of this video is not for it to please everyone or gotcha somebody. It is for this video to be a meaningful source of information. I absolutely did my best.
And I guess your best wasn't good enough.
Firstly,
Oh my gosh, you actually have a Bible?
I have 2 Bibles.
Okay.
I swear. We're both from the South. This will be an honest video.
Oh, your laptop's blocking it.
Dawson's video, his first video, gained a bunch of traction. What was your reasoning for being so silent immediately?
The Ava stuff came out, and I put out that tweet. We hired the investigators to go look into it. And part of that investigation is they recommended that I not talk about drama or really do anything online. It's a little unfortunate because I told them, okay, I'll wait till the investigation is over. Truthfully, just in transparency, I've never done one of these like big investigations before, and I've never had to bring in a top tier law firm and a former federal prosecutor and let them, do this really big thing. I told Quinn Emanuel that, to protect the integrity, I wouldn't do anything or engage in any of this drama. And then after that, yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff had come out between when the investigation started and when it ended, and I was just kind of like, whoa, like I probably should have, like the second I could have talked, like, I don't remember the exact date, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we put that report out, probably should have done something like this right then. If I could go back in time, I would.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.
And yeah, that's kind of like the brain dump, and then here I am.
I mean, that definitely, that does line up obviously with what's happened, and it makes sense. And I definitely, I feel like, before talking to you, I definitely would imagine that you would regret have not making a response early.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like that, because you could have just immediately, if there is information to debunk Dogpack's his first video off the bat.
Yeah, which obviously had so much disinformation in it. If anyone saw Sagi's video or any of the newer videos now coming out, like you would see so much. Yeah, so much of it. So it's. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it happened on the back end of when I said I would not talk about or address drama and things. And I mean, there's obviously, should have done this sooner. Whoops. But hey, better late than never.
Yeah. Did you think it would get this big?
No, I mean, truthfully, I thought, like, if you watch Sagi's video or any of these other videos that are coming out now showing all the discrepancies, I honestly thought a lot of people would find, like, the information proving the dishonesty earlier.
The Google.
Yeah, like, because a lot of this could have been, just figure out Google. A lot of this could, and now, I also have to be clear, like, I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying I've never done anything wrong, and you can't criticize me. Like, there are things I deserve criticism for, and I'm sure we'll get to some of those things in here, but there are a lot of things that are just not true, and, on those things, like, I mean, we'll just get to it. Like, the big one that, I mean, videos with tens of millions of views collectively, claiming I called a guy Delaware because he committed a crime in Delaware, like, that is not true. His name was just Delaware. I didn't, call him Delaware to make fun of him or anything. And he was in a video before I hired him working at Best Buy wearing a name tag that said Delaware. And like, that was public information. And like, anyone could have saw that. And like, even during when that was like getting shared a lot a couple months ago, I even sent that to a couple of YouTubers. I was like, hey, just so you know, like, I didn't call him Delaware because of this messed up thing. Like, that was just his name, and here's proof. And I guess I probably shouldn't say the name of the creators, but like, one of them literally just said to me, like, well, it's not really cool to like you or defend you right now, so I don't really care whether or not it's true, or I don't want to take the video down because then people are gonna think I'm controlled opposition. I was like, whoa. And then also, like, that same photo, are you gonna like throw some things on the screen for them?
Definitely.
Yeah, so throw it on the screen. it got taken down by the mods on r/YouTube drama. And that's when I realized, like, oh, anytime there's a post proving like that I'm not evil, they were taking it down. On Reddit, anytime something was proving that I wasn't evil or, you know, contrarian to what everyone was saying, they were suppressing it or censoring it, not trying to sound extreme.
So you're saying it's like a echo chamber, which, I mean, Reddit, r/YouTube drama is...
Yeah, I know, but it's unfortunate when there's a post with 10,000 upvotes claiming something false about you.
Of course, you paid a law firm to find yourself innocent.
I saw those memes, yeah.
How would you respond to the allegation that the investigation was biased?
They did find some wrongdoing, just not in regards to like the serious Ava allegation. So that's a, you know, false truth. And then on top of that, it wasn't an internal investigation. It was an external investigation, which was clearly laid out in the things we showed.
Yeah, a third-party investigation.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people I saw were saying like, well, you paid them. And it's like, well, yeah, top-tier lawyers and federal prosecutors don't work for free. I mean, transparently, they even like scanned my phone, dug through. If they found anything illegal, they are obligated to report it to the police. Like this.
Having been taken out of context, can you explain what the no doesn't mean no policy was and why it was in the...
Yes. So, yeah. So it's funny, even the word like policy, it's like, so when we started hiring more people, I wrote this little, I almost like advice book just for a lot of employees because I wasn't able to talk with people as much as I was early on. And one part of it that people, when this thing got leaked, and I wrote it with some other people in my company, it wasn't just me, but when this got leaked, there's a section that said no does not mean no. And then they just like cropped that out and they're like, look, this is proof Jimmy's immoral and evil. When obviously, like you were saying, if you read the context below, it makes sense. The gist of why we had a section that said no does not mean no is because we do, I don't know if anyone's ever seen our videos, crazy things that have never been done before, right? No one's ever, on YouTube at least, buried themselves alive for 7 days. No one like tries to dangle an obstacle course from cranes. And it's like, the problem I kept running into early on when I was hiring people is I'd be like, hey, I want to do this. And then they would go call someone. So like, let's say the obstacle course in the sky where we had like this obstacle courses that Mac did, held up by these cranes, weighed like 100,000 pounds or whatever. Like they would call crane companies and they'd be like, no. And then they'd be like, okay, hang up. And they'd come to me and they'd go, Jimmy, they said, no, we can't do it. The video's not possible. And it's like, okay, well, of course they're going to say no because everything we do has never been done before. But like, ask them why. And like, obviously, if they don't be rude, but if they say no, just try to understand why, right? And a lot of times you'll have an instance where like, well, we can't get all the cranes at one time because we're renting them out. And it's like, okay, perfect. We respect that. But can I offer something before you actually hard say no? What if we went to the 2 or 3 other clients that day that were renting the cranes, we paid them 5 times the amount of money they paid to rent those cranes to just, rent them a week later. And let's just see. And then the company would usually be like, oh, you would do that? It's like, yeah, like we want to work with you to find a solution to make your problem our problem and solve it. And then like, then a hard no will 50% of the time turn into, oh, well, yeah, actually we can do it if you're willing to spend a little extra money or whatever. So that was me trying to educate my employees on that.
Yeah, so I actually wrote that part. Yeah. That's why it's funny. Yeah, because I actually wrote this thing with Jimmy doing this. The whole reason why this thing exists in the first place is because we are growing so fast people-wise. It's like, okay, how do we give them artificial Jimmy time? Like, how do we teach them what CTR is, teach them what 1 out of 10 is? Like, how do you say, okay, this is how we think about creative, this is how what it takes to be successful here, based off of the hard things we got to do. That's the intent behind the document, right? No doesn't mean no is wildly taken out of context, I think, in this situation, because in the way that we mean it, it's a sales tactic. It's like, again, like I mentioned, like you call a crane operator and go, hey man, I need you to drop a jet from your crane. And they're like, huh? No, I can't do that, right? And so for us, it's more like, well, why can't you do that? And they're like, oh, well, I don't have the manpower to do this. And it's like, okay, well, how do we help you get past that, right? Can we help get you more labor? Is it like that's what it means, because like we wouldn't have a company if we stopped at no at face value. Yeah. Right? Because if everybody that told us no, we couldn't do some of the crazy things that we've done. It's a sales tactic. It's been around long before like we put it down on paper.
And somehow, well, I don't know, I'm not even gonna say somehow, I know how. I mean, people who didn't care about the truth and just, wanted to spread disinformation and manipulate and lie to millions of people, which it worked, spun that into I mean, I'm not even going to state the obvious, but I mean, which made no sense because the context for it was literally written right below it.
And I do, talking to him, I do believe that he is an honest guy. Yeah, how do you interpret his responses on Twitter if you've seen them? Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay.
I mean, I interpret as him just trying to be honest with his audience and just expressing how he feels. And I think, obviously he probably, in his head, if he was even being more honest, he'd probably be like, Jimmy, why don't you just say these things? Why am I saying it? And I think, obviously, now that I'm here and doing this, that will alleviate it. But I could see how it feels. Like, obviously, I saw that video and it, disproved. I mean, there are some things in there I don't agree with, and he does go pretty hard on me, so which people seem to forget. But there are a lot of things in there that he disproved, and yeah, I mean, I got excited and shot it over to a bunch of creators who covered the false information, and it was just like, look, I could see how, that looks like I'm hiding behind it. Luckily, I'm here talking to you, so
yeah.
I don't think that will be a problem anymore, but...
Yeah, because he's really not defending you. He's just disproving Dogpack. Or that's how I interpreted his video. I was like, oh, this is pretty balanced. I like him. He's a cool dude. And Soggy did a good job of sort of disproving a lot of these claims just in general, or giving weight to ones that deserve to have weight given to them. Yeah. So watch his video. Obviously, he did a lot of work on this stuff. So Dawson claimed that you ran multiple illegal lotteries. In Soggy's video, he sort of, I think, disproved 2.
Yes.
And then 1 he still believes was an illegal lottery.
Yes.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? What was your mindset?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason, like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here. Yeah, I mean, it just felt like I need to improve. I need to learn more, and just I want to fix these things, So, I mean, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I was looking for.
I'm like a...
Mm-hmm. Cool. Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Well, so, I mean, it's just unfortunate. Like, I don't want to be put in this situation, but probably gonna have to. It's not a thing I take joy in, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yes.
They're not done drafting it up, but once they're done, more than likely, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not the Antichrist. I mean, where's the Bible?
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
not the Antichrist. There you go.
It's like, sure, less bad, whatever, but who the fuck cares? If you're doing something like that, what you're saying there, that's leaps and bounds better. Yeah. People allege that you hired a registered sex offender named Delaware. There's a big whole conspiracy with it. Why did you hire Delaware? And were you aware that he was a sex offender before you hired him?
Yes, I did hire him. But for the context around it, I hired him when I was 19. So I was a teenager. My videos were getting bigger. I needed more help. And so I walked in because I'm dumb. Like, I probably should have gone on some site and hired people who had production experience. But instead, I walked into my local Best Buy and I just hired multiple people. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was. And I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware. And no, I did not know he was a registered sex offender. I take accountability. Yes, if I could go back in time, I would tell teenage me, hey, you're supposed to do background checks. 19-year-old me, he stared at retention charts all day. He obsessed over YouTube videos. He didn't know anything about running a business. Like, I can't fully put myself in the mind of me 7 years ago, but I'm sure teenage me also thought like, hey, Best Buy is worth tens of billions of dollars in a big corporation. Like, they also didn't do background checks.
I sent Jake the first part of the money on July 1st. It was $100,000. And how I got this? Well, baby girl, I sold part of my channel to a company called Creative Juice that is partnered with Mr. Beast. And, you know, Mr. Beast, like they're kind of distanced now from Mr. Beast. I really don't exactly know, but the SBA said no. Mr. Beast said yes. And I have to state how grateful I am for how much Creative Juice has helped me throughout all of this. They have my back genuinely, and they gave me the capital to get this ball rolling, and I'm so grateful of that. But it still wasn't enough scratch.